Well, good morning. You're watching Take Note on Morning at NTV with me, Flavia. And I was just reading something saying being multi-passionate doesn't make you a failure. In fact, it makes you indispensable. And I thought, good. Because some of us just can't figure out that question, what do you do? And you start this, and this. And sometimes I do this and this. And before the person's like, okay, I don't have that much time. I only asked what you do. But maybe because you can't figure out what exactly you do, because your interests are everywhere and anywhere. It's not so bad. You can actually make it work. Joining me this morning is the CEO of Success Africa, Ethan Mussolini. Yes. You're not a new face on NTV. Yes. This is home.
Yes, I am. And I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here again. Good morning, Flavia.
Good morning.
Yes.
What I know about you is that, of course, I don't think you're always happy. That would be weird to say about a human being. But you make the most out of every situation, I'm guessing. Yeah. He was giving everyone high fives.
Mostly happy.
Even those who don't want to give high fives. First, we're used to low ones. He was teaching us to give high fives. But I thought you'd be the best person to talk about a multi-passionate career or life.
Thank you.
Because you've figured out how to talk to people about finding what makes them tick. Yeah. And I think that's where we need to talk about. So if someone is asked that question, I think we're all asked when we're in school, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? Where should I start thinking of? Should I start thinking of things that make me happy? Should I start thinking of things that I can actually do by skill? Something I've studied? How do I start answering that question?
For me, it's really twofold, in my view. You should start with, what are you great at? Because if you're great at something, most likely that's part of your DNA. That's how God created you. And number two, ideally it should be a blend between what you're brilliant at and you love doing. I tell people life isn't supposed to be a drag and a drudge. But the challenge we have, Flavia, is we have people who are living their parents' dreams or parents' broken dreams, or because the market says this, but the question is, what does your heart tell you? So for me, I was very lucky that I figured out my thing when I was still much younger than this. So for me, the key is, what does your heart tell you? What are you brilliant at? What do you enjoy doing? Because when you love something and you're excellent at it, then your chances for success are much, much higher.
When you say you found what you were lucky, and I like to say you were lucky to find what you wanted to do much earlier. Because I was about to say, when can I figure out what I want? I mean, when is my brain able to actually differentiate that this is not just a joke that I've had from somebody, this is actually what I want to do? Because at a young age, everyone says lawyer, and you say, that's what I want to do. Yeah,
that's what I thought also when I was in high school. But then something happened in that when in 1994, should give you an idea how old I am. I was in senior 5. I participated in a debate. I discovered I had a gift in speaking. So from then on, something had been dropped in my spirit. So you know what, you're great at speaking. Before I finished university, I was seated in church. This guy was preaching, never give up. And I was like, you know what? In my spirit, I felt like that's what we need in Africa. Someone who can give other people hope. But remember, I already had a gift in speaking, and now I knew I also had a gift in encouraging people. So that blend, and then I got my mentor at the age of 22. So that's why I was saying I was very lucky. So that gave me a foundation to do that. But now, so when should you know? There's no answer to that, Flavia, because we all on different paths. All I would say is, programs like this, having these conversations, no one gave me this access of this kind of information, and that's our job as coaches and mentors. Say, look, find something you're excellent at, find something that you love, and if you can't, seek divine guidance. Then you will know. For me, the earlier, the better. The challenge is we box children into this. I want you to become, I know of a family, and for them, their parents have forced all of them to become doctors. And I will tell you, a good number of them are frustrated. And for me, if I can talk to a parent out there, please let your children do what they love doing and are excellent at, not what you think they should do, but what do they really want and what makes their heart sing. That's where the excellence and the happiness comes in.
I think there's an idea there, and I think I need us to talk about that before we go into mentoring or coaching. Trying different things, because it's hard to find what you want to do if you're not trying to do it.
I agree.
So even if you're talking to a parent who's saying that, okay, so how am I supposed to know? Because me, I'm a doctor. I want my child to be a doctor. But then you're saying, why don't you let them try different things?
Brilliant.
So even as an adult, is there value in me putting my hands everywhere and putting my time everywhere to figure it out?
I agree. It's a brilliant thought, Flavia. For me, like even this, I just tried it out.
Okay.
I just saw something on the board, say, hey,
let me see.
competition, public speaking, debate. And then I said, let me move into it. So what I advise, say especially young children, teenagers, even people in their 20s, please, explore as much as possible if you don't know. Then you will find something will call you. It's like when you're still single and there's some pool, you're like, oh, that's
your
the
eyes
one.
tend to go somewhere.
They'll go somewhere. So it's something with careers and what you should be doing. Something will call you like, wow, this is my thing. So the key thing is don't box yourself. Explore as much as possible and as often as possible, especially when you're young. Hopefully by the time you get to my age, you figure it out. Yes.
Yes, and is that me exploring even in fields I have not thought would be comfortable for me? Because, for example, the other day someone was saying nowadays it's a discussion around science, technology, and some people saying, if I didn't pass in university or I didn't pass at the high school level, why am I even trying? And they're telling you, no, anyone can do it at this level. So in me trying out different things, would you advise people to also try out the most ridiculous things they didn't even imagine they'd have interest in? It's like how they say reading books. Don't just read the books, the fiction that you like, just explore. So is there value in trying even the categories I probably wouldn't have thought about doing?
Yes, I will tell you yes, but with a disclaimer. This is what I mean. So according to research, there are people whom we call polymath. Polymath are people who will explore as many fields as possible. And that opens up your brain in so many categories because our brain is unlimited. So it's not good to just limit yourself. But once you've figured out your path, then use these other sources to feed into your career, that one thing. Because then you can borrow. For example, you are in media. You might find an idea in physics that you can use, even in the way you sit, even in the way you speak. You can find an idea from musicians on how they communicate, on how they present. Not that you're going to sing, but possibly how you can use your voice. So in essence, limiting yourself limits your brain. So I was telling one of my staff members actually yesterday, and he was telling me for him he's passionate about biographies. I was like, fine, read biographies, but explore as many subjects as possible to expand your knowledge base. Because guess what? You're not going to meet people only who are in your field. So you need to explore that. It's good for your brain and it's good to keep yourself.
And now I think the world has opened up. You don't speak to only Ugandans. So when you speak to the world. So I'm worried because we're saying having a multi-passionate career, and someone is wondering, is that me who is, as I was telling my director, is a farmer, is a teacher, he's this, is a director. So you're never sure which is which. What about saying that, because for me, I would say I'm multi-passionate, but everything is in one category. It's in media. So I will MC, I'll do voiceovers, maybe it's acting, maybe it's news, but it's all still around media, the same thing. But there are people whose interests are in different places. They'd want to be on TV 1 minute, but then they want to go and do something in business, then they want to do something totally different. What if my passions, Ethan, are from different sectors or different categories?
I will tell you, Flavia, I also don't like boxing people. I like people being focused, but also not boxing them at the same time, because God created us differently. There are those kinds of people, call them weird or whatever you want to call it, but that's who they are, and that's okay. And having said that, I always advise people, even though you're multi-passionate, at least find one thing where you spend most of your time, so that at least you're known for something. But because you can't be all over the place. You can't be known for everything. Yes, you can't be known for everything, but you can do more things. And ideally, it should be something that feeds into one big home, one big family, so to speak. So if you said your director is a farmer, is into media, is into what else? Teaching. So who says, for example, you can't, even as a farmer, you can teach people, you can have a TV show around farming. So in essence, you're doing all things, presumably in different sectors, but somehow they have a meeting point. So when you find that, so ideally, what I advise people is find that platform, whatever it is, that will bring all the rest together so that you can explore yourself, because there are those people who are just happy being one-dimensional, and that's okay, it works for them. But I also, I mean, I'm a motivational speaker, I coach people, I write, you know, who knows, one day I might go into emceeing and the like, I can dance, I can do several things, but there's that one core thing I do, which is transforming people and organizations. So my core thing is transformation. Now it could be through media, it could be through speaking, it could be one-on-one. So it's okay to do many things, but ideally, if you can find a way to bring them under one roof so that you can explore, so that you're not split all over the place, but you explore who you are, you enjoy yourself. Because for me, there's one thing you mentioned when we were kicking off. You said happy. And for me, the key thing is find that one thing that makes you happy, but explore.
There's a prominent lawyer who is also in music.
Yeah.
We're not going to mention who it is.
Yes.
But I remember the first time, I think somebody saw a poster for a concert and said, but this guy,
yes,
isn't he lost? Because also somebody's assuming a lawyer is a serious, you know, tunnel visual man, you know, straight face, and then music. And they were thinking, okay, so is the other one his life passion, and then, I mean, his career, and then this is just like a hobby, something he does for fun. So talk to me about choosing which, even if I have 3 passions, which should be the priority, and which then I should consider having once in a while to just make me happy. Are you basing that on the fact that this makes me money, this doesn't?
Well, I will tell you what. For me, I was like, I found something that I love, and then
that makes you money.
The next question, how do I get people to pay me to do what I'm doing? And also, I'm reading books about conversations with God. I'm rereading them, and the constant theme is that God does not judge. So I'm very careful now not to judge people, because number one, that lawyer or that engineer, you don't know their internal makeup. You don't know what's inspiring them. You don't know what makes them happy. The challenge is people, Flavia, is they think because for me I'm happy doing one thing, therefore everyone else should do that. Or someone else says I'm happy doing many things, therefore everyone should do many things. No, I'm saying, who are you to judge? All I would say is find that voice. Find whatever that it is that you're doing. Having said that, just to come back to your question, I would say definitely if one is earning you money and the other one is just for fun, and it's also okay to do something for fun. But remember, so I would spend more time on the career that gives me money, and then I do this other thing for fun. But let's also remember that such people who have other things that for fun, then they bring that life to the workplace. Because if you're also one-dimensional, then your brain does not have something to excite it. Because when you're a lawyer, for example, you're using mainly the mental game. But we know our body, there's the physical intelligence, there's musical intelligence, there's biological intelligence. So if someone is on the piano, for example, it's triggering off different neurons in your brain. So your brain is expanding, and then they come to work. They have much more life. So I would say, for me, such people, actually, you find they have a more fulfilling and balanced life rather than just one dimension.
So what you're saying is that if there's somebody watching and they have their one job, one career, that's all they've known maybe for 10 years, say they've done the same thing, go home to family, come back every day, put in my hours. But then they've never listened to that voice that says, but you like going to the theater sometimes and doing this, or you like fashion. Because I've seen people, for example, you have an accountant who just likes fashion. And she'll tell you, yes, I'm an accountant, I studied, I'm doing it, but I just like putting clothes together. But she thinks it might be beneath her as an accountant to start saying I have a boutique. You know, things like that. So I think there's also perception, you know, around how to, I think maybe it comes out in how I deliver my passion. So let's talk about packaging and how I end up branding my hobby or my passion on the side. How can I make it, because at the end of the day, whatever it is, some people choose their passions to make money.
Absolutely.
I need to convince people this makes sense for me. What if I'm like Flavia, who they've known for TV? And then I want to venture out in something totally different. And I say I'm packaging hibiscus and I'm selling that. And people think, no, I call us senti. And they won't even know maybe I'm a wellness guru. And I like that. How do I package my passion when I've been known for something totally different?
That's a good question. Number one is you can actually use your passion or what you've been known for to use that platform to sell your new thing.
Into the other.
Number two is the mistake I see is people have this passion, but then they are just handling it laissez-faire, so
Yes.
to speak. So I'm thinking that once you look at your passion, look at it as a business,
Okay.
as a product, as a service. Then you start thinking, okay, if I'm to create a business around this, what do I need? I need to have a plan. I need to have customers. I need to sell it. I need to tell people the value I'm bringing to the marketplace, what is most valuable to people. And the challenge also, what I see people do is when they're introducing themselves, oh, I do hibiscus. No, it's not you're doing hibiscus. You say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I help people to become well by making their drinks healthier. I help people to live longer by helping them to drink healthier meal, or I mean to drink healthier liquids, whatever you want to call it. Now you're selling to me what is in my interest. No, people don't care so much who you are and what you do. They care more about what can you do for me, and how does what you do solve my problem, or make me happier, or save me more money, save me more energy, or whatever it is. So then you start thinking at that level. Now you have to evolve from just an interest to a hobby to how do I turn this hobby into a business?
Okay, so I'm an accountant, but I also like to help people feel good by how they dress. Versus I'm an accountant, but I also sell clothes.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Talk to me about not committing to everything and lose. I mean, you understand? Sometimes you have 5 passions because you're multi-passionate.
Yeah.
And then you want to commit to everything. And I think I was trying to explain this to you before the break. You have 100% energy, but they said yesterday, they were saying that our efforts, we can only put 30 to 40%. And the best puts in 60%. So let's say I operate at 60%.
Yeah.
And I want to put 10% everywhere. That's not going to work for me, obviously. So is it safer for me to not commit a lot more energy to everything, just commit a bit of energy to everything? Or like you were saying, how you have to pick one thing that's the main. Should I then put my energy there? Because I'm asking this because sometimes you do that and the other things suffer.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see?
Yeah.
The other things are suffering because you're treating them as if they're just there.
Yeah.
And if you're not a typical Ugandan, those things on the side are mostly what their passion is.
Yes.
You know, in this country, we work to make money, but my passion is
somewhere
there.
Yes. Yeah.
Talk to me about committing and the energy I can put in.
So when you say energy, for me, it's all about being strategic. I believe in the 80-20 principle. So meaning of the 5 things, you'll find there's one that gives you the most returns and the most happiness. So I would say spend more time there. Because, you know, as they say that, is it
but
all animals are that all animals are created equal, but some are more equal than others. So they can't be, so you're saying 10-10, but the truth is the returns can't be all 10-10 or whatever you want to call it, or 20%. So what gives you the biggest return? And when I say return, I don't just mean in terms of money. Okay. It can be what gives you the most joy. So because there are people where money is not a big deal, they already have their passive income streams. So they just want something that makes them happy, or where they can express their creativity. So I'm not going to put a rule on what, but for you, what's most important to you in life at that particular stage? And of those 5 things, which one serves you most? Which one shows you, which one gives you the best expression of who you are?
And what if that is not bringing me the money? What if it will cost me instead to pursue my happy passion, if I could say that?
All right.
What if it will cost me more? Because most cases, our passions, okay, again, I'm saying it today based on some of my friends, I've seen their passions as side things. And they're getting money from their job to put into their passion. And you do it for a long time hoping to see. So you're telling me I need to be happy, but maybe I'm at work not happy. And what's making me happy, I can't give it that much time because I'm here 8 to 5. So how do I balance those two?
So what I usually, when I'm coaching people, Flavia, this is what I tell them. Look, you have a career, work up to 5, but then there's that window of, let's say, 6 to 10. So then you use that time to invest into your passion or future that you want to do. And that might, so if you put in money strategically, knowing that it's an investment, because everything has a cost, just like the job is a cost. I mean, you're spending time, possibly would have loved to be in bed at this particular time. So everything has a cost, but you're investing in what? So you can use that. And then what I usually advise people is, invest in this other passion. Then over time, if you discover that you're spending half of the time and you've replaced your former income, then you can jump ship. So not everyone is going to be as crazy as I am. Me, I was a little younger, I was 26, I just jumped in and went full time. So I would say is, so long as you look at it not as a cost, but as an investment, knowing you get a return. But let's also be very careful. Use the word hope, hoping that it will work. Yes. Hope is not a plan. So you have to have a plan. You have to be consistent. Find a coach, find a mentor, find someone who will help you get there faster, and you can.
Let's talk about that then, mentorship. That's a good resource. And I think there's mentorship. People assume mentors are people you're going to have to sit with all the time and talk to. Sometimes you're watching people from a distance and learning from them.
Definitely.
Tell me about that phase when I've thought of what I want to do. I'm doing something already, so now I've discovered, oh, I'm multi-passionate. I have another interest.
Yeah.
Tell me about the value of then looking at people in that industry to try and sort of groom my interest into what they eventually become.
For me, Flavia, that's priceless because I've noticed I've struggled a lot over my career, 15 years, doing this kind of work because I didn't have many people to look up to because I started way earlier before the industry was an industry. So I would say if you have multi-passionate in 5 areas, please find a minimum of 5 coaches or mentors. and it's okay because you also can't get all the wisdom from one person.
That's true.
Even if you have one career, find someone in spirituality, health and all that. Because we call it, you will get someone to compress decades into days.
Yeah.
So for you, what has taken you, let's say 8 years, I don't know, whatever it is, if you sat down with a young lady or a young gentleman, you can show them how to reduce that 8 years to 2.
That's true.
So same thing, I can help someone reduce what has taken me 15 years into 2 or 3. So for me, that's priceless, and people underestimate that.
That's
so
true.
even if it means spending time, spending your skill to help someone do something, or spending money on a person like me to invest in yourself, to guide you, to keep you accountable, that's always priceless.
Okay.
And to keep you focused, because you said multiple things. But you see, you need sometimes a third party who will look at you and say, hey, wait a minute.
That's not working for you.
It's not working. And sometimes it's okay not to work, and then you jump out and retreat and regroup. And sometimes you need someone who does not know you from history. Say, we know you. You can't do that. Come on. But you don't know whether that person went through a course or they got inspired to do something. That's where a coach or mentor comes in.
Yeah.
Someone who believes in.
I think someone told me it's very valuable for you to have a coach or mentor when you're starting your passions, because sometimes your passion is to do with people, and for example, you hate people. You're not a people person. You just don't like greeting, talking to them. When people talk to you for 30 minutes, you're like, okay. And then you think your passion is supposed to deal with people. So sometimes people can advise you and say, you're not Ethan.
Yes.
That's not your strength. You think you like it, but that's not your strength. So it's very valuable. But people might think multi-passionate careers are all good and there's no challenges of sort. There can be a disadvantage in being multi-passionate. The disadvantage of a lack of focus because everything looks too good. You know? So I don't know if you can talk to us about what could also be bad in having too many interests.
So that's a very valid point. Research tells us, for example, when you're doing something and then you switch, which we call switch tasking. So you're in office, someone says, do you have a minute? Of course you and I know it, and it's never a minute. By the time they go back, because when you're working, you're in the zone, what we call in the zone, your peak performance. So it will take you, by the time they leave, it will take you at least 25 minutes to go back into the former zone you were in. So I believe it is the same principle of, I'm here now doing this thing, now let me switch and do this thing. So as you switch tasking, or as you switch careering, if I'm to create that word in the moment, is you're losing focus, and then 2, then your brand also suffers a bit because now people don't know where to place you. I've received calls. There are people who have had my number, let's say they made 10 years ago, and they call, do you still do this thing of motivating? I'm like, yeah, I am on. So now if they call you, they're like, you see that thing, now I switched, I went to this, or but I'm in so many things now. Now the moment you say
I do it on the side, but nowadays I'm
thank you, on the side. Because I like it, and it's like going to a hospital and you have this critical surgery to be done. Like, I do this thing on the side, you know, just, would you stay there? You run, okay? You want to deal with an expert. So it kills that expertise or authority persuasion platform that you'd have by you being known for something. Like you've been known in communications, therefore it's very easy for someone to engage you as an MC or for those.
They know what you do.
They know what you do. So that suffers a bit. And besides that, we know that according to the creativity, the law of creation says that there's something that you focus on for a long time produces much more. It's like compound interest. Therefore, it's compound expertise, it's compound creativity, it's compound intuition. Even sometimes what we call intuition also comes out of experience. You focus on something many times, so you lose all that most of the times. Having said that, your brain expands. Your brain capacity and way of looking at the world is much, much richer and much, much broader. Just to make people who are out there, I mean, you're not weird. Sometimes you're just different.
It's okay.
And it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Just find a way to optimize it and get the most out of it. And you can schedule it also.
That's true. That's the CEO of Success Africa, Ethan Mussolini, talking to us about you have so many things you want to do. But I think the value there, because you've seen their disadvantages were few. We had a longer conversation about the good in it. Just know what you want to do. I think it helps, of course, if one major thing and all the others feed into it so that you're not too far. And as you said, put on to call and you say, I'm doing something totally different. Don't confuse people. And also, you need to focus. And when you're focused, you become an expert after some time, of course.
Absolutely.
Yes. So put in the work. And if you're multi-passionate, as you said, you're not weird.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time this morning.
You're welcome, Flavia. I would also encourage those people who are young out there, check out ethan@40.com. ethan@40.com. I share my best secrets I learned before the age of 40.
So I was about to ask, is that your age?
Yes.
Okay, great.
They don't make the same mistakes I've made.
I hear you. Thank you so much.
You're
That's
welcome.
it for Morning at 10 TV. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you.